Okay, so this is a video of how to work out your test review. I'll do this in 15-minute increments. All right, for this first one, we're going to say that it's not one-to-one because we can hit the curve with the horizontal line more than once. So the answer there would be no. Number 2, find the inverse. So the first thing we're going to do is swap out f of x for y. Then we're going to swap our variables. Then we're going to multiply both sides by y minus 6. What we want to do here is solve for y. So I'm going to divide by x and then add 6 over. And then the answer key will probably have these with a common denominator. So that common denominator is x. So y equals 3 plus 6x over x. F inverse is 3 plus 6x over x. Okay, I guess I should have addressed this as well. Find the inverse if it exists. You guys graphed equations like number 2 in the previous chapter. So this is one of those rational functions that has a vertical asymptote at 6, x equals 6. And if you graphed it, it would pass the horizontal line test. So it does have an inverse. Number 3 just says find f of negative 3. So that's just putting in negative 3 as your exponent. If you don't have a calculator handy, I can make the exponent positive by putting it down below. And I would get 1 over 64. Number 4. What I would be doing here is I would try to get the same base so that I can use a one-to-one property. All right, I know that 5 squared is 25 and 4 squared is 16. However, my fraction's kind of upside down. So the first thing I'm going to do is switch the order, flip it, and that changes the sign on my exponent. My next step would be to write 16 over 25 with the same base of 4/5. So that is 4 over 5 squared. From there, I'm going to do negative x equals 2. And I did that by dropping the bases and setting the exponents equal to each other. On number 5, 4 and 64 have a common base of 4. Four to the third power is 64. From there, I'm going to drop my bases and then solve for x. Okay, number 6. 1/3 and 9 can both be written with 3's. So what I'm going to do here is switch that to 3 to the negative first. And let me just switch color so it doesn't all run together. And 9 would be 3 squared. Okay, from there I can drop my exponent, or drop my bases. And then solve for x. Okay. Number 7. How much will be produced if 4107 is invested for 5 years at 7% compounded quarterly? So I'm going to find A. Here's my P. 1 plus R over N to the NT. I should be able to type that straight into my calculator. 4107 parentheses 1 plus 0.07 divided by 4, all raised to the 20th power. $5,810 and 49 cents. Number 8. The number of reports of a certain virus has increased exponentially since 1960. The number of cases can be approximated using this function, where t is the number of years since 1960. Estimate the number of cases in 2000. So we're finding the amount 40 years after 1960. And again, this can go straight into your calculator. Just make sure you have extra parentheses here. So 478 times E to the 0.002 times 40. That's roughly 518. Evaluate this logarithm. I'm just going to set it equal to x. So a to the x equals 1. That exponent has to be 0. For number 10, I'm going to also set that equal to x. B to the x equals b. So that exponent has to be 1. You guys have seen problems like this show up? So that's just what that's illustrating. Number 11, write this in log form. So I know that my base is 6. So that's either choice C or D. The exponent is what the logarithm equals, so I'm going to go with choice C. And then on this one, I know my base is 5, my exponent is 3, so I'm going to go with choice B. On number 13, I'm going to go with x to the third is 8. What number cubed is 8? Or I can take the cube root on each side. X would be 2. And on 14, switch it to an exponential. 4 to the third is x. X would be 64. Okay, on this one, I'm going to split apart my division first by subtraction of the two logs. So I'm going to kind of just browse my answers real quick and see which ones have minus log base 19 of n, and that's C and D. So I'm going to cross out A and B. And then I'm going to go ahead and split up this product of 4 radical m. All right, that's not looking like choice C. I know it's choice D because the square root is a 1/2 power. That's going to go right in front right here. Let's go with choice D. Okay, on this one, I'm going to be looking for m over n, okay, and the k has the fourth power. Well, that takes care of choice B and choice D. Now, here's a good way to do this problem. I would go ahead and do that division. Now, because there's this plus sign right here, is that k to the fourth going to go in the numerator or the denominator? So it's going to go in the numerator. So I'm going to go with answer A. Okay, number 17, which is the same as 3 log 4x. All right, so we know that the 3 is actually an exponent. So log of 4x to the third power. Okay, that means I am taking the log of 4 to the third and x to the third. And so the answer is B. Now, when you go and condense logarithms through subtraction on number 18, you're dividing the arguments. You get to use the log one time. The answer is not A. You're dividing here, not subtracting, so C is out. D is out. 12x divided by 3x, the x's divide out. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, I'm going to pause right there for this first video, and then we'll reconvene to do the second video over 19 through whatever we get through.